Temple football threw up another 0 on the scoreboard this past weekend.
And Bernard Pierce threw down some more records. OwlSports Update starts now. Hello and welcome to this edition of OwlSports Update alongside Kyle Fisher. I'm Noelle Roby. Coming up, we will introduce you to the one man responsible for keeping every Temple athlete happy.
But first, it's homecoming weekend on North and South Broad with the Owls taking on Buffalo at the Link. The Owls were coming off of an impressive shutout on the road over Ball State 1 week ago. Then this past Saturday, they were trying to give the home fans something to be excited about. Once again, the defense showed up in full force, and with Bernie and the Bug thrown in for good measure, it turned into a long day for the Bulls. And the crowd was fired up for homecoming, looking for a repeat of Temple's manhandling of Buffalo a year ago. Pierce would have yet another record-setting day on the ground. We'll get to those records in a little bit. A little mixed bag in the beginning of the game. Chester Stewart passes to Rod Streeter, another quick first down. However, the drive would stall, so Temple kicker Brandon McManus opens the scoring, 3-0 Owls. Later, more Pierce, handoff here, makes a man miss there. He goes for the sideline, picks up 28 more yards before being dragged out of bounds. This leads to Bernard doing what Bernard does best. Spin move, heads to the outside, and touchdown. He gets to celebrate in the end zone. This gives Temple a 10-0 first quarter lead. Second quarter now, giving the ball to Pierce yet again, goes around the left end, and he is off to the races. 53 yards later, he will end up in the end zone, and with that TD, Pierce sets the Temple single-season record for rushing touchdowns. And we will, like I said, have more on that in a little bit. But with no more records to break, Pierce lets him spread the love to Akeem Smith, who fools the Buffalo D with a direct snap on the fake punt, 49 yards in for the score. Other than Pierce, the story has been the Temple D this season. Buffalo came in trying to break a five-quarter scoreless streak against the Owls, and the defense is very stubborn in this one. This field goal attempt, listen to the fans, the Owls defense does just that, blocks the kick. Senior Kiar Griffin, Temple preserves the shutout and takes a 24-0 lead into halftime. Let's go into the second half, more Owls running game, but this time it is Matt Brown from 58 yards out. He goes right down the sideline, get off me, stiff arm, right down the sideline, throws in a little muscle flex in there for good measure, celebrating in the end zone. Brown and Pierce will eclipse 100 yards for the second straight game. McManus adds one last field goal to set the final score. The Owls shut out consecutive opponents and obliterate Buffalo 34-0.
And I thought our kids came out with an attitude and a demeanor, played really, really physical, really hard. And it was real important to them. They had a lot of pride in coming back home, playing in the Link. Our whole goal is, play great defense, be able to run the football, and when you run the football, you're really speaking to time of possession. We rushed the ball for 400 yards, and so, I thought that, and Bernard had 60 of it taken away before the half on a penalty. So, that's who we are. I mean, so we need to be able to do that. I mean, that's our identity, right? I mean, that's what we want our identity to be.
Pierce broke 5 school records in Saturday's game. He is now the Temple all-time career leader in touchdowns. He also broke his own single-season mark for TDs and points scored. Pierce has a career high of 44 touchdowns, surpassing former Owl Paul Palmer's record of 43. He rewrote his record for season-high touchdowns, now at 18. And finally, he has a new season-high for points scored at 102. Pierce finished Saturday's game with 152 yards, 2 touchdowns, and on just 23 carries. Temple took a break against Buffalo at the halftime to honor some of its finest athletes. 5 players, 4 of whom were All-Americans, joined the 1982 and 84 women's lacrosse teams in the Temple Hall of Fame. All-American Tony B.R. Jenkins, Jack Hubbard, Carl Imhauser, and Alma Kavaki joined Pete Dempsey and the 5 athletes inducted into the Hall of Fame. Homecoming comes but once a year, and this past weekend the festivities were felt by students alike.
Our homecoming consultant Chris Williams took in this past weekend's events. Chris joins us in the newsroom in his OwlSports Update debut. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks, guys. That's right, this weekend was homecoming, and with the players playing at such a high level, more than just the students have been taking notice. Here at Temple, and with the Owls' success, much more alumni can be found tailgating, and we're excited about the team.
Down here tailgating at least 6 out of the 7 home games. Would love to be here for 7 out of 7, but sometimes the scheduling's a little off. It's a party down here. It's T for Temple U. If you're not here, you're crazy.
Alumni are not the only ones excited about the team, as former players also came out to support their fellow Owls.
Temple football has always been obviously a love of mine as a player and now as an alumni. But really it gave me the opportunity to go to an incredible school like Temple, and I really it gives me a good perspective in terms of how much I don't think most of the normal everyday fans that don't have a chance to play don't realize how much of an effect that the people in the stands and a good crowd makes on the game.
Student section. There was no student section when I was a freshman. There was maybe 10, 15 kids. I don't even know if they were students or they just wandered over to Bed Stadium. Now we're over here in the link. I'm sitting with the alumni wishing I could be over there with the students.
It's incredible. So it's a huge advantage, and that's why I do what I try and do, and I try and get as many people going as I can.
We're going to go to a ball game, and we're going to win our first ball game ever under Adazio. The guy's a madman. I love the way he's got the team fired up, and I love the way he's got the fans fired up.
The team has all the potential in the world. They've been playing very well. We had one tough game, 2 tough games, but this is a great team. We have a great opportunity to win the MAC, and that's what we hope to do. That's the ultimate goal, I think.
And former players have really set high expectations for the team this year. Let's just hope that they can live up to these expectations and have a good season. Back to Kyle and Noelle in the studio.
Thank you. If you're grabbing a program at any upcoming Temple hoop game, you'll notice a new number for Ramon Moore. The senior guard is changing his number from 23 to number 10 in honor of his cousin. Moore's cousin Zaire died this past summer in a car accident on the Atlantic City Expressway. He was just 10 years old. And on the court, the men's basketball team started practice last Friday afternoon in preparation for the upcoming season, despite losing star forward Lavoy Allen. The Owls are expected to compete in another A-10 title and maybe another trip to the NCAA tournament, where they won a first-round game last season over Penn State. As this season approaches, the experts are starting to weigh in on their expectations for the Owls. ESPN has the Owls ranked in 29th in the coaches poll. In the A-10 conference, Xavier ranked first, followed by Temple, and last year's defending champion Richmond comes in at number 5. The preseason all-conference first team includes Temple's seniors Ramon Moore and Juan Fernandez. When we come back, we will show how the field hockey fared in overtime on the field at Gazy Field.
Also on OwlSports Update, he heals. That's his job. We'll take a look at one of Temple's top athletic trainers when we come back.
Catastrophic injury, which we hope we never happened. If there was some wood, I'd probably knock on it right now.
Here we go. What? What?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent, because kids in foster care don't need perfection. They need you.
Turning a 20-foot wall into a canvas takes vision. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
And welcome back, everyone, to OwlSports. Let's get right into men's soccer, who took on St. Joe's up on Hawk Hill. Some very good defense and goaltending in this one by the rookie Bobby Rosada. The Owls got off to a quick start when in just the 7th minute of the game, sophomore Vaughn Spurrier scores with assists from Cody Calafiore, and senior Tyler Whitmer. Whitmer has the play of the game here, though, with a pass. Beautiful header, not even a flinch from the goalie. The Owls will go on to win this one 2-0, bringing Temple to 6-6 on the year.
That women's soccer team would probably like to forget what happened on Friday night. St. Joe's showed no mercy when defeating the Owls in 7-1. The Hawks scored 7 unanswered goals. The only Temple goal came in the 88th minute of a free kick by junior Brittany Wallner. The Owls are 4-10 overall.
We all know the ones who make the plays are the ones who get the recognition. They are, of course, but excuse me. We all know the ones on the field get recognition, but the ones who keep those stars on the field usually go unnoticed. OwlSports' Dan McKinney speaks to one of the Temple athletic trainers who does just that.
The love of sports is what drove me to get into this profession. You know, you prepare for the worst and you hope for the best. I like the role that I have. We're kind of a first responder on the field. You feel for them a little bit more sometimes. My own mother used to call me a physical therapist.
There's weird things going on.
I'm close to that, but I'm not. Hop up. Do you like feet? I get that a lot. Where's the tender? No, I don't really like feet. One down, one to go. I knew it getting into the profession, that's what I was going to be doing. Will you make it? Yes, you will. My responsibility is to return that athlete to participation as safely as possible, and that's not always the quickest thing to do depending on what we're talking about, but every little injury is serious. The hangnail or the blister can turn into something a lot worse. A lot of these soccer guys roll their ankles or get tackled and they sprain those ankles, so these side strips that I'm doing right now kind of help stabilize it again. Sweaty! And the rest is just making it look pretty. Which I should probably Purell my own hands after touching that many feet, but athletic training to me, bend, lift towards the ceiling. We always run the risk of an athlete having some type of serious injury, potentially catastrophic injury, which we hope we never happen. If there was some wood, I'd probably knock on it right now. It's a little toasty in here. I spend most of my mornings down on the main campus. Our training room stays open. We're available on a regular basis, and we're open till 7 o'clock at night. So it can be a long day. That's fine and dandy. I love what I do. I enjoy being a part of it. Clearing out your nostrils? Yeah. Oh boy, it's a good day.
There's nothing like a bunch of close games put a gray hair on anyone's head. In the case for the Temple field hockey coach Amanda Jenny, this was this weekend. In the past weekend, the Owls played 2 games, both decided by 1 goal. The Big Five rival LaSalle made their presence known at the field as they struck fast with an early goal, putting the Explorers up 1-0. Just when it appeared LaSalle would take a 2-0 lead, Temple goalie Lizzie Millen makes a critical stop. Temple offense did the best they could to get on board, but LaSalle goalie Lisa Schaefer looked to be unstoppable. Finally, late in the second half, Temple's Nicole Kroner fires off a shot and puts it in the net for Temple's first goal. The score was 1-1 in the second half when it closed out, so we went into overtime. Kroner makes a steal in overtime, allowing for a breakaway. She would pass it off to Bridget Settles, who has a chance to get the open net, but she misses it wide open. However, she soon gets a redemption shot with a penalty, giving them an overtime win of 2-1. 2 days earlier, Temple also came from behind to beat Richmond 2-1. Carolyn Limbright and Bridget Settles teamed up for a game winner in the 64th minute. The Owls sit at 6-10 overall, but 3-0 in conference.
The volleyball team came into this past weekend sitting at 6-12 overall, but still relevant in conference play at 2-3. With 2 A-10 matchups over the weekend, the Owls headed out on the road to try and change their luck. Temple dropped Friday's game against St. Louis in straight sets. Some high notes from Temple, though. Senior Colin Wallace and sophomore Gabriella Matushia led the team with 8 kills apiece. Wallace also added 10 digs in the match. And the story wasn't much different in Sunday's matchup at Duquesne. They lost in straight sets again, but sophomore Elise Burkett did notch a double-double with 11 kills and 10 digs. They sit at 6-14 overall, 2-5 in conference. Now, as we discussed earlier, the Temple's men's basketball team is now ranked 29th. Do you think OwlSports could be ranked in the top 20 on TUTV?
Kyle, there's only 20 shows on TUTV.
All right. That's exciting. Yeah, I think we should go into the nest on that one. That is good news. Sorry. Bernard Pierce isn't the only football player making his name known. Senior tight end Evan Rodriguez was just one of 25 to be named to the John Mackey Award mid-season watch list. The award is presented at the end of the season to the most outstanding tight end in college football.
Senior Bridget Settles is used to being in the nest. For the third time this season, the field hockey co-captain has earned an A10 Player of the Week honors. Settles is now nationally ranked in scoring so far this season.
And former Temple athletes are trading their cherry and white for red, white, and blue. Jason Red, Marcus McClaney, and Joe Spencer, all Temple alums, led Team USA to a gold medal in the men's 8 at the Pan Am Games. Red is also in his first year as head coach of the Temple women's rowing team. Well, that about wraps up this edition of OwlSports Update. Remember, you can always get all of your OwlSports needs by visiting www.owlsports.com or find us on Twitter and YouTube by searching OwlSports.
For Kyle Fisher and the rest of the OwlSports crew, I'm Noelle Roby, and have a good day.